Good day, good people. Happy Thursday to you. Rika Styles here. Welcome to episode 2 of Dating Chronicles. I'm so excited to dip into this conversation. We are going to be unpacking the patterns, healing the heart, and redefining love one conversation at a time. So I have a special guest on today. I'm so excited to have him here. He has great perspectives and just data and conversations on his own platforms. And I usually just take from that and have conversations on my own with random people that I meet just to get different perspectives, right? That's the whole point of me starting this podcast. I was in the dating streets, as y'all know, a couple of years ago. And I was just like, am I the only one dealing with these wretched people? And I found out that I was not. And a friend was like, "You should start a podcast because these are really good, healthy conversations." But I started this podcast to not only give myself understanding, but also learn different perspective, gain wisdom and knowledge and tools on how to go about dating. The underlining of Dating Chronicles, we're talking about trauma and how we unpack that, how that shows up in dating. And my heart is really just to impact anyone that's watching this to help them heal, overcome, gain self confidence, and just walk with a head held high. So that is my agenda when it comes to this podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking and let my guest introduce himself. Go ahead and tell the people who you are, what you do, and how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Dante Assad Williams, mental health practitioner. I also have a platform online as well. So you get a hold of me. Instagram, TikTok is the biggest one for me. But yeah, I'm in and out, in the community and doing different things and different advocacy work and stuff. So really excited to be here, and then just really grateful for the space that you're holding. Right, I think a lot of your work is critical and important as you tell your story. You're liberating your narrative and also liberate other people too. So I just appreciate your courageousness and bravery. So
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. I did an intro to the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I am putting myself on the operational table this season, like being very vulnerable and transparent. And it's just like, I know it's going to help other people. It's helping myself, but it's definitely going to help other people be like, you know what, this is who I am. Either I like it or I don't. What am I doing to change it? And I've always been a person who likes to evolve as a person, as a woman, as a mother, as a friend, etc. And so this is my journey, as raw as I can get, as real as I can get. To be honest with you, and it's just really to bring healing and help to anyone who may need identifying themselves and who they truly are to the core, and just being proud of that, whether you don't like it or not, you're still willing to do the work, right? That it takes to become a better person. So we're gonna dive into these questions on today. So our topic for today is talking about attachment styles and how they show up in relationship. So my first question to you are: what are the main four attachment styles, and how are they defined?
yeah, I think with attachment, I think it's important. Attachment's a really kind of buzzword that we hear a lot in social media. And I think a part of that reason is because we're trying to understand ourselves and understand other people that we're in relationship with. And so
Mm-hmm.
what I find, so I'm kind of answering your question, but I'm giving like
Oh
a
no, do you? It's okay.
uh,
Do you?
so people I think are wanting, particularly women I'm hearing, are wanting to understand not just their own attachment styles, but their partners that they're with.
Yeah.
And justifiably, part of that reason is because it's soothing. There's so
Mm,
much of the behaviors of their partners and counterparts that are like, I don't understand why the hell they're doing this, and why
right.
why why are they pushing and pulling? Why are they
Mm,
avoiding? Why are they clinging? Right? All these things. So women are trying to understand this, and so instead of the here and now behavioral, interpersonal behavioral patterns that show up, we go and look towards childhood,
mm,
justifiably. So there's a difference between childhood attachments and then adult attachments. So
mm.
childhood attachments were first started, right? The gentleman by John Bowlby, and then a woman by her last name was Ainsworth. They did a lot of work in terms of talking about attachment styles. And attachment styles, what creates and fosters these four major main types of attachment, which is secure, anxious, avoidant, and ambivalent,
Mhm.
is the environment with which a child is brought up in. Now, interesting enough, Bowlby's not to get too professor-esque, but
You're
interesting,
good.
yeah, interesting enough, Bowlby, what he found was that even if someone didn't necessarily like, there were like nannies and things like that were being raised, that children being raised by nannies.
Mm.
Found that when there's a separation between the child and the nanny that was taking care of them, it was almost as if it was a separation between the mother themselves. Now,
Mm.
the reason I say that is for women and men, but particularly in our context, women who have maybe have had strained relationships with mothers, strained relationships with fathers, and we found kind of like secondarily, but yet primary relationships like grandmothers, uncles, aunts, those people that really hold near and dear to our heart. Those are just as significant and can move towards a sufficient relationship in terms of healing
Okay.
us as children. So that's that part. So with the secure attachment, that's a child or baby that was brought up in an environment that was safe, the environment that was stable, an environment that was filled with love. And typically how this looks with children and adults is that they feel sufficient within themselves. They have a
Mm.
healthy level of confidence and self-esteem. They know what they think about themselves and who they are and what they are, and they appreciate that. Now we move into anxious attachment. Anxious attachment at the core is thinking, will this person leave me? So with the anxious
Mm.
environment, the caregivers were in and out, not necessarily as consistent. And then you move into kind of this avoidant attachment style. And avoidant is which I sometimes fall under. So
You'll
avoidant,
go.
right? Because avoidant, it says, is that, well, no one's here.
Yeah.
And because no one's supplying for me, I now have to be self-sufficient within myself.
Mm.
That could look like neglect for children and newborns and toddlers and young children. And then there's the ambivalent part, right? And the ambivalent attachment style is I'm coming in for love and I'm leaving. Coming in, I'm leaving. It doesn't
Mm.
quite settle. Now we shift the transition into adult attachment styles. There are four there as well, which is secure, preoccupied, dismissive avoidant, and then there's this fearful avoidant. These are adult interpersonal dynamics.
Okay.
And so similarly, the secure attachment is, again, grew up in a healthy environment. Similarly, they're currently in a healthy environment. They have a good
Mhm.
relationship with themselves. And there's a preoccupied one where it's, again, anxious. So at the anxious core, it's always, are you going to leave me? When are you going to
Mhm.
leave me? Now, this is where the dynamics start to show up, is because if
Okay.
you're an anxious woman and you're like, is this person going to leave? Is this person going to go? And then you're dealing with a dismissive, avoidant type of person, it starts this push pull. So like they pull
Mhm.
away and then you chase. And the more you chase, the more
Right.
you pull away. And
Okay.
then you find yourself like losing yourself. So the last point is the fearful avoidance.
Wow.
So that's my academic overview of the attachment style.
Wow. Yeah. So what are some general behaviors for all four of those attachments? And for the adult attachment styles, those also come from childhood, right?
Yep, those inform so they're informed by the childhood. Yep,
Formed
yep,
by the child and then they kind of play out as
yep.
an adult. So what are some behaviors that an avoidant might have in a relationship? What are some behaviors a dismissal may have in a relationship? Just to give the people some examples of what those look like.
Yeah. So these are dynamics where they are guiding assumptions that
Mm.
individual will make about the people in their lives. So, for example, for a avoidant, an avoidant says is that no one's around, no one's available, no one will be there. You hear this a lot with men of like,
Yeah.
only don't trust nobody, take care of you type of rhetoric. So they're quick to leave. They're quick to leave and they're quick to detach right away.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is because in their environments that they grew up in, people were in and out all the time, so relationships weren't as secure. So now
Mm-hmm.
you have this kind of like anxious kind of attachment. It's like this worry of like, when are you going to go? When are you going to leave me?
Yes.
Right? And that assumption, when someone starts to go down that thought process, then folks start ruminating. And they start
Mm,
thinking about, oh, this is going to happen. And then you
yeah.
develop narratives and these rumors, like these, like, yeah, you see the chuckles.
I'm laughing at you, like you describing some of my avoidant, because I'm an avoidant, right? Just to give you some back uh, background on my growing up. I grew up with a single mother who worked 2 to 3 jobs, so she was gone all the time. She worked at night. I was at home during the day, right? Father was in and out of the picture, but I also moved a lot as a kid.
Mm,
So that made me develop a mentality of what's the point of making friends? I'm just gonna move anyway, right?
yeah.
And so that's the narrative well, it wasn't, that's the narrative I started living by even as an adult. Like for me, I'm not a small conversation type person. Like, hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, the weather. I'm like, get to the point. I'm a straight to the point type person. And I know that can kind of come off like, kind of stern, but I'm just like, I just want to know your intentions right away. And that kind of played out in a relationship. Like, hey, like, what are your intentions? What's your goals? What's your values? What do you want from me,
Mm,
basically? And so I just kind of want to know what it is up front, whether it's a situationship, you want to be married, you want to, whatever the case may be. I'm just like a kind of in front of your face type person. And so I guess that gives me the comfortability to plan in my head, like, okay, this person plans to be around for a while. I can kind of calm down that anxious, but
yeah.
I'm recognizing that even the anxious and asking all the questions is coming off as anxious, right? Because I want to know up front, like, are you going to leave me? Are you thinking long term?
Yeah.
Right. So I can see that as well. But moving around a lot as a kid really caused me as an adult to not really want to make friends because I'm like, what's the point? They're gonna leave anyway. So
Mm.
what are your takes on that? What are some tools or steps that I can begin to work on, even calming that anxious part down a little bit more?
Yeah. One of the things I was thinking about there, it seemed to have been this like assumption that everyone goes, everyone leaves, or I leave.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like a part of you, this isn't therapy necessarily, but
Do what you have to do, okay? I'm here for it all.
well, like one of the things I was thinking about, and and I hear this with people in general too, but
Yeah.
it's it sounds like you didn't get a chance to grieve past relationships that you had. You had to compartmentalize them and tuck them away and just keep moving. It's great. It's very
Mhm.
cool, when you
Yeah.
think about this, particularly for Black women. Like Black women are taught there's no time for affect or emotions. You just keep going and
Right.
you keep doing. So you don't really get a chance to grieve. Even like I'm sure there was like childhood friendships that like you can
Mhm.
remember that just abruptly ended.
Yep.
And you're like, I never got closure,
Yep.
you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's something so that I can go back in that time and grieve. Do you suggest any exercises that I can do to just like help that younger me heal and grieve those relationships?
Yeah, I love inner child work.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, there's narratives that people tell themselves, especially when
Mhm.
you're anxious or ambivalent, like you have these tendencies. Also, too, like these attachment styles in adults are think of them as tendencies, not like
Mm.
categories, but they're
Right.
tendencies which someone falls under.
Yeah.
Um, so I think one of the things is like this inner child work that you're talking about is like, as this adult that now knows what you know, what would you go back to tell that version of yourself then that what you
Mm.
know now, right? What truths would you tell yourself? Because
Yeah.
when we're kids, we're told the lies of the environment that we are in,
Oh, yes.
right? And then
Yeah.
it's not until you're an adult or you're moved out of it that you start to realize that, oh, those were core lies. They weren't
Mm.
actually true. Like, so if someone believes that in their core, they're not lovable. I mean, think about it. Like, not to go on a tangent really quick, but like
Yeah.
we see and hear people, they go from one abusive relationship to another abusive relationship to another
Mhm.
relationship. And the partners all look different. They might even be in different cities, but yet the outcomes are still the same and the experience is
Mhm.
still the same. So what does that mean? It means that people treat us based on the way that we believe that they should be treating us.
That's good. That's really good.
But it's painful to sit in the truth of that.
Yeah.
Of like, wow, I don't think I'm lovable.
Yeah.
So going back to that child self and saying like, who are you and what makes you worthy of love?
Mm.
And you get to tell it as an adult. You get to tell it because that part sometimes is missing for us. We don't get that affirmation from the adults in our lives or the people in our lives of affirming who we are. So we get to now, as the adults, go back and tell ourselves the honest truth about who we are.
So. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. My mother, she was a beautiful person. She is a beautiful person. She's still alive. But I don't know my mother's story.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what she's been through. And I'm working on, like, my daughter, she's 24. She knows my story. She doesn't know all of it. She's bit by bit, right? But I don't know my mother's story to know what she's been through in life. She was born in the 60s in Chicago. I recognized she was a survivor. She knew how to survive versus living, right? Enjoying, embracing, being in a moment. Therefore, the principles that she taught me was survivor skills. You know, work hard, don't depend on anybody, don't trust anybody, do it yourself because people will always let you down and disappoint you. So that tells me, you know, she's been through a lot in life where people let her down and disappointed her. They probably used, abused her, backstabbed her, whatever the case may be, right? And she was very, like, when she would talk to me, it was like Jesus talking to the disciples. It was always some parables. And as a kid, I'm like, lady, what are you talking about? Yeah. Right? And I got it as I got older and I started living life and started having relationships. Like, that's what my mother meant, right? Yeah. So she gave me great wisdom and tips, but emotionally, she was not available. Physical touch was something that was very absent. Being able to see her emotional, but also allowing myself to be an emotional person, you know, advocating for that and just having a safe space. I did not have that growing up as a child. And what even more sucked about that is I was the only child. So I didn't have sisters and brothers that I can confide into, right? Grew up a lot with my cousins on my dad's side, but there's trauma that comes there as well. So again, I kept everything to myself. I recognized how my mother raised me was like, kind of like garbage wrapped in a beautiful present. With the outside has to be prestige, right? Great, excellent. But inside there's all this ugliness, stories, you know, things that are not the greatest thing. And so I noticed I would grow up in my younger 20s like that, presenting my best self, even though I'm depressed, even though I'm thinking about suicide, even though I'm thinking about just a whole bunch of negative things, right? Like, what am I living here for? And this is my young 20s, mid 20s or whatever. But yeah, now I'm doing the work to unpack that and tell myself the truth. And this is a huge reason why I'm doing this podcast. Is to also bring healing to broken relationships between mothers and daughters as I heal my relationship with my daughter. So she'll be on a couple of episodes, but it's just so much to unpack. Yeah. So much to do. And that's why I say, like, I am on the operation table this season because I'm like, I am like really cutting myself open and looking what's inside and like taking out the things that were embedded on me and actually not my own, right? Yeah. It's not like somebody gave me a transplant of their heart. Yeah. And so I'm able to know my true heart. And just other parts of my body, my mind, how I think, again, is what somebody else imposed on me and not my true mind, which is a creative, optimistic mind. Right? Yeah. So it's a lot to unpack, but also digest as well. So I see wheels are turning over there. What's your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. You know, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think we take vulnerability. So that's the area of expertise for mine is vulnerability, emotional vulnerability, particularly African American men. But vulnerability is a gift
Hmm.
that we give people, and that's our stories. And so I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that gift. Um, and one of the things I'm hearing is systemically. I think we sometimes focus so much on like ourselves as the individual and like
Mhm.
fixing everything and like
Yeah.
doing generational curses and all that. Like only the Savior, Jesus, or whomever is somewhere
Right.
is able to do
Yeah.
that.
Come on.
The,
Fact.
the
Fact.
rest of us are humans, right? With limitations. So we can take
Right.
that serial
Yeah.
came off
We do.
right off,
Absolutely.
you know. So, part of it is I think also too is also like hearing when you're ready to
Mm.
hear all the other stories that impacted how other people showed up with you.
Yeah.
Because then it takes away the personal assault or personal offense that it had. It's
Hmm.
wrong. It hurts. And it did happen
Yeah.
to us. But it removes the personality of saying that it's like, this happened to you because it's your fault.
Mm.
This happened to you because you didn't do XYZ.
Right.
Oftentimes in childhood and young adult experiences, unexplainable, traumatic, horrible things that should never have happened happen to us.
Yeah.
And we never get closure.
Mm.
Abusers never give closure. People who harm us never give us closure. So what do? We give
Yeah.
closure to ourselves.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the way we give closure to ourselves is by painting an inaccurate story of
Yeah.
saying, I did this. This makes
Yeah.
me worthy of love. This
That's
makes me
really good.
worthy of XYZ. So, and I work with different types of like trauma survivors, particularly women in different contexts. And as we did our work, a lot of that work gets down to the core of like there's a part of them that feels like they're fundamentally broken,
Yeah.
fundamentally not worth it, and
Mm.
that's a full-faced lie. So with loving kindness and compassion, you can get a broader picture of the story of why did these things happen, why did these things take place, and it depersonalizes it as if there's something
Mm.
wrong with us and whom we are.
Right.
So when we go and you're going to have those conversations with your daughter, you go to have those conversations with your mother. Number one, just you even like acknowledging like, yo, something's wrong,
Yeah.
something's off.
Mm-hmm.
Pat on the back, right?
Oh, thank you.
Just that with his so like pat on the back. You know what I mean? Because it's what I'm saying. It's just I guess because it's distressing. It's distressing to even think about these things because we try to
Yeah.
minimize them, right?
Mm.
So having this loving kindness and compassion with ourselves as we explore these things is critical. But also we have to also look at too like the readiness of the parties at hand as well. Are they ready to have certain conversations?
Yep.
Because
I
if
am.
right,
My daughter is.
right,
She's still working her own things out. My mother, absolutely not.
okay,
Every time I bring up, like, I want to know more history. I love history, right? So I like to understand stories. I've always wanted to know what was my mother and father's story, their love story. Like, how did they meet? Why did they break up? How was their relationship, right?
yep,
If I bring anything up about that man, she shuts down and she blames me. Why are you always messing up a bad time by bringing up? I'm like, I'm just trying to understand
yep,
the dynamic of the relationship.
yep,
So I'm like, I'm in my 40s, early 40s. That's a long time to hold on to whatever she's holding on, right?
yeah, yeah,
I'm just like, wait, just talk about it already.
yeah,
So I can't get the answers that I want to get. I can't from my father because he's deceased now,
yeah,
right? I want to hear her side. I heard my father's family side of the story, and I'm like, I don't know who to believe because I don't have his side. I don't have her side. And
mm,
families always want to see everybody as their best, right?
yep,
Uh, and don't want to share those dark things, right? I know there were dark things there. So yeah, she's not willing to talk about it. So I, at this point, don't really know what to do with, like, you can't fight in the ring by yourself, right? You need
Right.
an opponent, um, or even a dialogue. So that's the more frustrating part, I can say, and I don't even know if frustrated is the right word to use, but I'm just like, all I can do is pray for her at
Yeah.
this point, right? That God heals her and delivers her from whatever she dealt with that is hard to talk about. And I just believe God can do all things. And I believe He can repair the relationship where we're on speaking terms, right? So I don't think any mother should go without talking to their child, especially their only child on this earth.
Yeah.
That hits completely different, right? So
Yeah. What are you hoping to get out of that if she were to do it? Like let's say best case scenario, one
yeah,
day the Holy Spirit, Jesus, it touches her heart. She's like, all right, I'm an open book. What are you hoping
mm,
to get out of
yeah. I want to know what she's been through,
that?
like what did she experience in life that gave her the lessons that she provided for me, right?
Yeah.
Because she gave me lessons and wisdom how to survive, but not have to live and enjoy and embrace and be in the moment. So I just want to understand her history and her story, what molded her mind the way that it did. And I
Mm,
believe that would give me so much more forgiveness towards her,
yeah.
grace for her as well. Like she did the best that she can do with what she had. And I'm very thankful that my mother always provided. She was always a protector. So like we grew up poor, but I didn't know I was poor until I moved to an all white school
Yep.
at 10 years old. Like, oh, I'm going into these mansions and I'm like, oh wow. And then I go back to my two-bedroom apartment, like, oh, yeah, we're poor. But I've never felt poor, right? Because I always had food, always had clothes, lights was always on, rent was always paid.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm learning to live in the moment and to embrace and not think of what is the next step, right?
Hmm.
Because I believe me always thinking of the next step doesn't allow me to joy the now and what's in front of me, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
it
So,
does.
yeah.
Um, I'm going to use an analogy if I could.
Okay.
When you read a book, all the pages are filled in, right?
Mhm.
Complete story. The writer finished the entire story. It's almost kind of like they force you, like they force you to the end of the story. I
Mm.
have ADHD, so I hardly finish books.
Yeah.
So, but
That makes sense.
I'm like, but with a notebook, though, a notebook is different.
Yeah.
Book is different, and I'll just use this really quick. This is my beat up notebook that I put my scribbles in.
Yeah.
Some of these pages are filled in, right? I have notes in,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the pages are now empty.
Mm.
Sometimes there are empty pages, even though there's pages, things written. Sometimes there's empty
Yeah.
pages between the stories.
Mm.
And the reason I offer that analogy to you is that if there are blank pages in the stories of our lives that other people will not help fill in, then we get to take the liberty, the exclusive pen, and
Mm.
write the story so we can continue to heal and move forward,
Yeah.
or else we remain stuck in time.
I like that. Yeah.
Because
That was a beautiful analogy.
yeah, we
Yeah.
lose power, right? We're
Right.
begging, pleading, please give me
Yeah.
this, and we can't make someone do something.
Right. Exactly. We can't beg somebody or ask someone to give us closure or expect someone to give us closure. We would all love it, right? To put our narrative thoughts to rest, but we always don't get closure. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, ooh, I'm a person that likes to know, right? I'm a problem solver. I'm an analytical person. I gotta know.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of person. And so like it's like I want to know because I don't want to create my own narratives that are negative, but also not true. Is another reason why I like closure, just to understand why,
Yeah,
right? Um, but even that, with that, I'm learning how to give myself tools on how to accept not having closure. It's challenging.
yep, yep, yep.
It's very challenging.
you like took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say next, which is moving into radical acceptance.
Mm. What are some steps to begin
Yeah.
that process?
So radical acceptance, the reason that's radical is that you have been, and other people, right, have been ruminating for years,
Mm-hmm.
daily, multiple times per day
Mm.
about getting unanswered questions answered. It has consumed our cognitive, our headspace in our minds.
Yeah.
It's almost held it captive, kind of, when you think about it,
Mm.
right? It's kind of torment when you think
Wow.
about it, self-torment,
Mm.
right? It kind of is,
Yeah.
because no one wants to keep thinking about, why is this person not wanting to tell me this piece of truth? What is it
Yeah.
about me? What is it about what happened? Why are they not giving me this?
Mm.
All I'm wanting is just the truth.
Yeah.
That's why it says in scripture, the truth shall set you free and make you free.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't
Have
say
you
it.
ever? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, have you ever had a relationship end and you didn't get closure?
Oh, absolutely.
How
Absolutely.
did,
Yeah.
how did that work? How did that show up? Like, what was your process to getting closure?
Well, my current practice now is like, if depending on, like, how long we've been talking and the nature of like how, the intensity of it,
Yeah.
I'll sit down. I'll
Mm.
sit down with them and we will have
Yeah.
a closure debriefing conversation. And I'm not talking about like being cruel to them and saying like,
Mhm.
you're not enough for me, this and that. I'm not saying that. A closure
Yeah.
conversation is, thank you for what you taught me.
Well, that part.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
That
I
part.
appreciate what I've learned about myself. And I
Mm.
apologize for how I didn't show up and the things I might have missed. But
Mm.
please know, it's dignifying. I respect you
Yeah.
as a woman. I respect you as a person, and I care deeply about you and always will. And the stories that you share with me will stay with me.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, you start talking to different people, and then the next thing you know, your business gets spewed all out. Not with me.
Mhm.
With me, I'm staying committed to what I told you originally. Is like, I keep your story with me, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to share or distribute it. I've written letters. If I
Yeah.
can't get a hold of someone or this and that, I will write a full letter. Like, this is
Mhm.
emotional maturity. I did not do this before,
Yeah.
but I you know what I'm saying? I'd be immature for you ghost this and that. Like, it was very
Yeah.
immature.
Mhm.
And reflecting on it, I have a great degree of disappointment in myself. Of like, Dante, ghosting is so hurtful.
It is.
Ghosting so painful. Ghosting so undignifying. It can be triggering and re-traumatizing for someone
Whew.
who
Come
just
on.
someone. So be a man of character, and be a man of emotional intelligence, and provide closure, right?
Mm.
Or you get closure, right? So
Yeah.
I've written letters and just different stuff like that. So, because if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But someone's human dignity should still be intact,
Exactly.
right?
That part.
'Cause I think men, just really quick, if I could just get a quick
Go
dose
ahead.
I think men are so focused on like being memorable in the worst way possible.
Elaborate on that.
I think men like the fact that they took something from someone that they feel like they can't get back. I think men like the power of that, the illusion of it. Because everybody moves on. You ain't special.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I think men have an issue with their own self-worth and their own dignity. They don't know who they are. Anytime that a man needs a woman to validate their existence, then they're not fully attuned to who they are as a man. We've got the game all wrong. How can I find myself in the body of a woman when it's a woman? I have to go on the journey of self-discovery within this dark place to find my truth. I have to go back and find my inner child that I left.
Oh,
that's work. Most men avoid that work. It's painful.
They have to do what?
Down deep within ourselves in the darkness to find the light of our inner child.
Wow.
We avoid it. That is what true courageousness and strength looks like for a man, is the ability to go it alone. I think we hear this like lone wolf kind of rhetoric. I think there's something to it, but it's a lone wolf to myself of I'm going within this journey to unpack and uncover and deal with I have to say the fact of like, if I ghosted someone and
Yeah.
isolated them, I have to sit with the truth of the matter. I knew exactly what I was doing.
Hmm.
I knew exactly what I was doing. Maybe I didn't understand it from a psychological principle.
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing. I had to be honest
Yeah.
with that. I had to be honest with my own abandonment and rejection issues,
Oh,
having my dad in my life. To be honest with that, I had to be
right.
honest with the fact that could show up with me as a parent with a 17-year-old who's a senior in high school, living in
Mhm.
my house in my basement, eating all my food. I had to be
Wow.
honest with that.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
when we are honest and we can evaluate whole and not, again, we hear a lot of social commentary, man, men will talk about like, well, why are women doing this? Why are females doing this?
Yeah.
You're asking the wrong question.
No questions. Yeah.
It's
You gotta
me.
look within for sure. You talk about ghosting, and I was talking to someone earlier this year. It was going good. We were really intentional about dating each other. We dated each other like 8 years prior. In his mind, we were dating. In his mind, I was like, we're not dating. Because this doesn't feel, and I don't know if you know the word, it doesn't seem like a relationship, right? There was just a lack of a lot of stuff. So in my mind, we were not in a relationship. We were just cool hanging out. His mind, we were in a relationship. Anyway,
Mm.
fast forward earlier this year, we're talking, we were reconnecting after 7, 8 years of not speaking to each other. Um, we shared, we have like 4 hour conversations with each other, right? We're understanding. He's going through his healing process of who he is and where his triggers and traumas come from. Like we're basically understanding ourselves, but also understanding each other by teaching us one another what we learned.
Yeah.
Going good for a couple of months. Talked about marriage, intentionally being together. Mind you, this is a long distance relationship in a whole other state. And out of the blue, we talked about going to therapy. Out of the blue, he ghosted me.
Mm.
I text him like, "Hey, we have therapy on Wednesday. Just want to make sure we're good to go." Day go by, 2 days go by, a
Mm.
week go by, and I was like, "What the hell?" No conversations or nothing. And so for months, I was like, "What did I do? What did I say? What's wrong?" We always point to ourselves of what's wrong. What do we do, right? Could be nothing. And I just kind of let it go. But I was like, damn, he just left without saying anything. Like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't have the mental capacity to have a long distance relationship. It actually took more than what I expected. Like, even that would have been okay. Nothing. This
Mm.
dude pops up, I want to say last week, just randomly text, hey, I'm going to be in town at the end of October. Can I see you? And I'm just like,
Oof.
it's been 7 months since March. I
Yeah.
have a voice. I have a voice now, right?
Yeah.
I think I told you my story of being raped and molested at a young age. My voice could take away. I am letting this baby sing, right? I'm letting you have it. I'm not holding back. Something is bothering me. I'm gonna say it. It'll be in a loving, gracious way. I'll let that dude have it. Like, what makes you think it's okay to call or text me 7 months later out of the blue as if you didn't ghost me 7 months ago and thinking that we're cool? And I know the words that I used, he heard the tone. He waited to the next day to respond. He apologized. He acknowledged um, the things that he did. And I understand his trauma was his mother in and out of his life,
Yeah.
right? No stability there, bouncing around, moved a lot as well.
Yeah.
So I understand that part, that disconnect or that avoidance, right? But we talked it out, we hashed it out, but I just let him know, like, I will not tolerate you being in and out of my life without some kind of conversation being had. I'm like, I'm not going to deal with that because that's triggering for me. That's
Yeah.
trauma for me that I've dealt with in my childhood and as an adult. I'm not going to deal with it because I have a voice to
Yeah.
say something, right? But I was like, how dare he come back into my life 7 months out of the blue?
Yeah.
like nothing happened. Like we've had deeper conversations, and he gave me an explanation, and I observed and shared the things that I observed that he was doing. And he agreed. So we're chill. We're cool right now. We're cordial, I can say. But now that's the second time actually that he's disappeared without saying anything. First
Okay.
time is when we moved out of the state. And so now I share with him like, now you have embedded a fear in for you to just get up and leave. That's what I fear from you now. And that's one of his biggest fears of someone leaving him that he truly cared about. So much that he did it to me twice. Right. So how many other women has he done it to?
Uh-huh,
Um,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
but yeah, I was just like, how am I supposed to? So now I have that fear and I'm sharing that with him.
Yeah.
Like, how can you fix that? How can you secure that if you can, But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna depend on you to do that. So yeah,
If I may.
you may.
Thank you. I just have a visceral reaction. I had to calm myself. It's very difficult.
Now, I want the reaction. Give it to me. Let them
Yeah,
know.
is it okay if I swear?
Yeah.
Oh, that's some fucking bullshit. Come on, man, bro. Here's the thing. His traumas are his traumas. That's his responsibility. Doesn't have shit to do with you. We all got trauma. Welcome to 2025. It sucks. The existence is traumatic itself. It has nothing to do with how he is treating you. And if it's so hurtful for whomever left his life, and he knows how hurtful it was for them to leave, then why the fuck? Why the hell would he do that to you then?
Yeah.
Affect wise, if he knows that if he knows that hurt him, then why would he do it to you then? Because it's a coward. Cowards do that. That's the honest truth. But I think as this is my personal perspective. Say like that's what cowards do. Cowards do that. You don't do that to someone that you say that you're in a relationship with.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You don't say I care about you and do that. I mean, if you honestly care about them.
Right.
Because he could have said, hey, this is a lot right now and I'm sorry. And I need some time. Or this is a lot right now and you might not hear from me. Something,
right?
But to have unanswered narratives, we are automatically, especially if there's trauma involved, we're conditioned to automatically point the blame to ourselves when it really isn't our effing problem. And one of the things that I've been telling people, like a concept that like I've just told folks, is that you are your sun in your universe. You are the sun in your universe. Whoever's listening, you are your sun in your universe. You are primary. You are in the middle. Everything revolves around you. And planets are interchangeable. So if he wants to be Pluto and want to act like a fool, then now to the black hole you go, and I will replace you with a different Pluto.
Come on, facts.
We don't have to deal with and accept the lackluster nonsense that people do. People will treat us the way that we let them treat us.
Exactly.
And it's sad that it has nothing to do with you, right? It's sad that this person operates and walks through the world this way.
Yeah.
It's sad as how this person shows up. Not talk too much shit about him, but if he's listening, that's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. He knows, and he is doing the work, to recognize these things as well, which is great because most men that I've talked to, they are not self-aware at all. He's very self-aware, and he apologized for it. And I'm like, okay, I accept the apology, but going forward, if you expect anything from me, here is X, Y, and Z, right? Because now you inflicted a wound on me that you didn't even need to.
No. Self-awareness is not the same as self-accountability.
Yeah.
There are some men who do have self-awareness. That's great. Whoopty freaking.
What's the difference?
Oh, yes. Thank you for asking.
What's the difference?
Now, I could be self-aware and be like, oh, man, my dad wasn't in my life. That's why I exited in and out of. That's why I can leave, places or not necessarily feel like I'm enough, or I have to prove myself. I'm Dr. Dante after all. I got to prove myself. This, that, right? I know where it comes from. Self-accountability means I don't take out my internal things onto other people. and I deal with these things.
Oh, that's good.
Because there's a lot of dudes that are self-aware and they tell you they're set. I maybe sound very mean, but it's a straight talk. My uncle was a person that would talk to me very straight, and I appreciate it. So I kind of do that emotionally, right, with people.
Yeah.
Like, men want to be leaders and they want to be in charge and they want women to submit to them. And I hate that word. They want women to submit to them. But where's the emotional stewardship that's happening, taking place?
That's good.
Where's the emotional safety? You don't feel safe in relationships. That's why there's more men going and becoming more alone than ever before, because there's no emotional safety. We haven't adapted in terms of our understanding of provision. So self-accountability is like, I am doing my work and I can name if I am doing something to you that is hurtful or harmful. When I acknowledge that before, I'm going to be aware of it. I'm going to stop myself.
Yeah.
I can't do these things and I'm willing to exit so I don't cause you harm. Right? Sometimes you have to exit stage left if you cannot come correct in someone's life because you cause more harm. But you avoid doing that because you don't want to be alone. But a man that could be with himself is never alone.
Right. That's good. I think a lot of men need to hear that.
Yeah.
That part right there.
Yep.
Because that's really good. That's a lot of meat to digest. I have one more question. What are some strategies to develop more secure attachment style?
Yeah, I think acknowledging, like, one, being aware of like what environment were you in, right? Two, what are these attachment tendencies that you have and how do they look? And three, like, this is if you're like in a relationship context or dating context or wherever that may be, but talking through protocols of like, hey, like I'm a person that's like, if there's a lot of like shame kind of conversation like coming towards me and it's like emotionally charged and I don't know like what's happening, I kind of shut down. So I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? And then I get quiet. Because I'm like, what? So I get quiet because I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I get it.
Low,
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Just like sitting there. Quiet. Talking, I'm like, I don't know what to say. It's be worse, right? So I tend to be a delayed emotional processor, and then and that's my own self accountability.
You're self-aware of it, though, right?
Yep. Like I got to come back to the table. I actually have to come back to the table on the timeline. That's the thing. You don't have timelines. It's like, can you give me a day or two?
Yeah.
Like get this sorted out. But be able to have a conversation with each other of like, I have a tendency as an avoidant to like, when there's like this kind of intensity, I tend to kind of be like, can I get a second? Get a second. Get a second.
Absolutely.
And the reason I go, can I get a second? Can I get a second? Is because I wasn't raised in an environment where the attachments or the connections and people were consistent. So I don't feel safe actually getting close to someone if I don't feel like it's consistent. Because that scares the hell out of me. So let me go back to my safety, which is with distance piece. So even us naming that can be helpful, and knowing that that's what happens and naming that can be helpful. So in this case, with old boy, instead of ghosting for 7 months, being like, I am horrified right now. And can we like pause on this? Because I'm terrified. Right. And like he's being honest, he's not on nonsense. Like, can we pause this? Because I'm actually terrified. Right. And then you're like, okay, but now he knows how he shows up like with his attachment tendencies, and now you know how you show up with your attachment tendencies. And that's why I think the way of healing it is not, you can't necessarily go back in time and change the environment you were in, but you can be aware of how it shows up in the present day.
Right.
That can be a helpful strategy. And then also to again, like we kind of mentioned earlier, the narrative that we tell ourselves about our past. And also, like, this is something that I've been wrestling with, is like our future selves too. Like, what does our future self want to look like?
Yeah.
And am I doing things in the here and now to facilitate that image of my future self coming true? So all of us have and will exist, right? The past, the current, and the future self all will exist at some point, or have existed at some point.
Yeah.
So they're part of who we are. So if that's the case, what do I want that to look like, and is there things I can do now, right?
Mm, yeah, that's good. I appreciate you sharing your story too and being avoidant. Are you just avoidant? You have some people have two. Is it
Yeah,
just the avoidant or
I tend to be. I wrestle. I kind of wrestle between. Depends on who it is and the
okay?
dynamic and
Yeah,
the emotional safety. Like if I feel
yeah,
safe, if I feel emotionally safe, I'm like very secure. I think they refer.
exactly, exactly. I noticed that too. Like, how come with one person I'm like just chill, laid back, I'm okay, and I noticed because they're very consistent.
Mhm.
They're very consistent, and I'm just like I never had consistency before in a relationship. And so even I got bored with the consistency.
Mm.
I was like, I want something like get spicy, be spontaneous, right? Like, but then
Yeah.
I had to talk to myself, like, he's being consistent. But I'm like, yeah, consistency gets boring with me sometimes. And that's because I'm used to the up and down, right? The inconsistency. So
Yeah.
I have to really learn, like, okay, this person is really consistent. And I really felt secure in that relationship. But I saw the avoidance come out in both of us actually, but in myself because I'm like, this is going too well. This is too
Like a self
consistent.
sabotage type of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
definitely self sabotage in a relationship. I actually didn't in this one, the previous one. We talked about like how it shows up or whatever. But this was actually the first relationship I didn't self sabotage. I felt the
Mm.
most secure in this relationship as far as him not going anywhere because he was very consistent. And then I was in a 3 year situationship, on and off situationship. And I was secure in that way because I felt very safe, protected. I felt like I can be myself. And actually, with that person, I was able to take off all of my hats and be my authentic self, whether I was frustrated, short tempered, goofy,
Mm.
silly. Like, I can just take off all of those hats of being a mother, being an entrepreneur, being a worker, being a student, and just I'm accepted. I never felt judged in that relationship, but it
Mhm.
was very inconsistent.
Mm.
And I understood how he was raised, very inconsistent, as like myself, moved a lot.
Mm.
Mother wasn't in his life, mother didn't affirm, emotionless, right? Um, and I was sabotaging that when we got too close because I would start to learn a pattern. Like, okay, when we get close here, you're gonna do something to piss me off,
Mm.
and I'm gonna block you for
Mm.
a week or two. Like that's how that relationship started to go, right? And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm doing my healing, I'm doing the work that it takes, and I don't deserve
Yeah.
this, right? And so because I don't deserve it, I'm not gonna allow myself to have it. But I learned so much from that relationship. It has definitely been a fundamental how I go into the next relationship, how I
Yeah.
carry myself, the things that I tolerate. Like I used to let things slide with him. I ain't letting nothing slide. I see a red flag. I'm calling it out right then. What's
Yeah.
that? Why you
Mhm.
doing that? Hey, you know. I'm
Mhm.
asking them questions up front again because I just think it works better that way versus letting something slide, sweeping it on the rug. Okay, now person is testing you of how much and what they can do to you, right? And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. So I'm very thankful for that relationship. It taught me
Yeah.
a lot about myself. So I'm very, like you said, thank you for teaching me what I needed to know. Thank you for allowing me to do the inside work. So it was it was a toxic relationship, but it was actually a great learning experience at the end of the day. But yeah,
What where would you say that you are at right now, based off your learning and where you
yeah,
be?
I'm definitely more secure, not anxious as I used to be in a relationship. Um, Definitely moving away more from avoidance. I'm more like in your face, deal with it right here, right now. Again, versus sweeping it under the rug or letting it build up to where I explode. And he's like, "Where the hell this come from?" I've always been here, but I just never said nothing. So now I'm there. I bring I bring it up right away.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more secure with myself and who I am, but also learning that I'm a dope ass female.
Oh yeah.
The things that I have, just who I am,
Yeah.
and it's all God that gives me it, right? But like my thought process, how I think, how I care, how I study my partner, how I want to understand him, the things that I do
Yeah.
just as a woman, like, man, you're dope. Like you're dope. And if any man cannot see that, doesn't need to be with you.
Correct.
Right. And so I'm becoming more secure with who I am and the things that I have to offer. Like I've always heard other people say it, but I'm really starting to walk in that and flourish in that. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
One of the things I was just thinking about is avoidance. People don't necessarily mean they're going to leave you.
Hmm.
Someone's anxious. I think that's the core like
Yeah.
fear of like, oh, when are they going to leave? But it's like just because they're distancing doesn't mean they've left. Like if I could be transparent with you, I
Yeah.
had dynamics where I was so like upset about something that I'm like, I need some space. This, that, and the other. I got like going on. I'm like, need some space. But I will always show up for you no matter what
Hmm.
happens because I'm committed.
Hmm.
If I'm with you, I'm with you. If there's an
Yeah.
issue at hand, I don't care how pissed off I am. I will be
Yeah.
present. I'll be there to solve issues. Like that's
Yeah.
so. Like I think that sometimes is that worry of the the avoidant won't come back. But it's like at least for me, how to show.
Hmm.
But I'm committed. I'm committed. So no matter my emotion, I will
Yeah.
still be consistent. You know.
That's what's up. That's loyalty. In my eyes, that's loyalty.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that that's something that I learned in that 3-year situation, what loyalty looked like. Even though I messed up and made a boo boo, he was still there. He still showed up.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like, I just yelled at you. I just cussed you out. You still here? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty, right? And not pushing those healthy things away because I wasn't used to them. It's something I learned. I had to learn how to do. Still learning how to do, right?
Yeah.
Not used to consistency, not used to loyalty. Those are huge factors as adults to like rewire my mind, versus the younger me. Oh, they're gonna leave. They're gonna disappear. They're up and down. You know, so it was a lot. It still is a lot to
Yeah.
accept and take in because it's so unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to humans
Yeah.
versus Christ, but
Yeah. It's easier to believe that like people are going to leave because you've already built that expectation because the abnormal has become normal.
mhm,
But when you now experience like what you want to experience, but because you've never experienced it before, it's distressing the entire time.
mhm,
So then self-sabotage starts because then it's like, well, when are they going to see the real me and when will they leave? When they see
yeah,
the real me. But it's like I can speak from my vantage point, like as a man, like most times I've already saw that. We've already seen. Like if we're showing up that way, oh, we've already seen. Like we already
yeah,
like we know it's for we just know it's we're
yeah,
supposed to. Like we're gonna see the good and the bad, but we see through that in
mm,
your goodness,
yeah,
right? So, and we know that informs who and how you are as women. So I think that's okay. Like the women that have that thought, and I've experienced is like, when's this gonna? It's too good to be true. When's it gonna end? It only ends when you choose to make it end,
yeah.
or they do if they start doing some nonsense.
Right. Fact. I definitely learned that, and now I look for that. Like, is this person consistent? Is this person loyal? And everybody has different definition of what that looks like. I know my definition of what it looks like. So when I'm like dating, I'm looking for that. I'll tell you this quick story, and then we can want to take too much of your time. In the last 2 weeks, I've met 5 different guys. And they've all said, oh, I want to hang out with you. Let's do something. What type of things you like? And I give them that. Okay, we'll hang out this week. Fell off every time. And I'm just like, hasn't even led to a first date. Or one, like 2 didn't even lead to a first date. And I was like, dang, you can't even plan something or follow through on something that you want to do and initiate it, right?
Yeah.
The other one got to 2 dates, but then fell off. So now that I know what consistency looks like and
Yeah.
how it shows up, I'm like, yeah, you're not consistent. And when a man is not consistent, I pull back and I lose interest very quickly. Like the window for a man to let me know that he likes me, he's interested in pursue is very small. And so now it's even more smaller because my tolerance, my mental state, I'm not going to babysit a man and tell him the things that he needs to do. He should already know if he's a man, right? Um, I'm not going to chase because I'm a woman. If
Yeah.
I express back that I like you and I want to get to know you as well, all right, then let's make it happen, right? And so that window is very small. Now that I know what consistency looks like, what I know loyalty looks like, and also know my values and what I will not tolerate. The
Yeah.
window is very small. And I said this on my first podcast. He better come on with the come on if
Yeah.
he wants to be or date me. So yeah.
Just a you know, I have to raise
Go
this. I
ahead.
don't this is just, you know, I'm a guest. I don't want to interrupt your story, you know.
No, you're good.
If I offer a gentle perspective for you to consider, because I've heard that before, the part that you
Mhm.
mentioned about I can't tell a man how to be a man. I would offer this. If I want like the best, like delicious plate of food,
Yeah.
I want it to be customized, right?
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
want it to be like just whatever someone's throwing some shit out
Mhm.
of the
Yeah.
kitchen. I want it to be customized. Similarly with like love and relationship, like you would want a man that hopefully can be customized to your
Yeah.
experience.
Absolutely.
But I think that to your point though, and many other women's point, I think that there is a fine line between like,
Yeah.
okay, now I gotta train you. But I think
Right.
there could be some dialogue is like, how would you want me to show up for you as a man? What does that look like? You
Yeah.
know, and we can adjust accordingly. But I think
Mhm.
sometimes like there's these justifiable wants and needs that the other person wants,
Mhm.
but it's not, you know, and I got ADHD, so I'm neurodiverse. So I need things very specific, or else I will miss. I'm like, is that you want me to do something with this? I don't know. But once you tell me, I know, and then I can, you know, I can adjust.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes those conversations aren't brought up because of these expectations of like, well, that's your part. But also, it's like
Mhm.
says that is our part.
Yeah.
Made
Yeah.
that looking for
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah. I'm coming from a man has expressed, I am very interested in you. I want to get to know you. I want to take you on a date. What will the ideal date that you would want me to take you on? I'm talking about that.
okay, I
And
got
drop the ball. What
you.
is the point?
It's like, dude, you didn't even plan this thing.
What's the point of asking or putting that on the table if you're not going to follow through with it? Is that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a guy like if I meet a guy on the street and I'm like, oh, he has to do this and that. I'm like, no. If I see a guy that is very handsome, I'll be like, I just want to let you know you're very handsome. Now keep walking. Now if he decides to initiate a conversation and feel like I never had that before. I think you're attractive too. Would you mind me getting to know you? Absolutely. Let's do it. But no, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm just gonna cut him off if he's not
Yeah,
doing that. I was coming from the perspective of the experience, I should say,
yeah,
of men like chasing me down in Target and
yeah,
want to take me on a date and ask me these questions in the Target aisle. And I'm like, okay, yeah, plan it, you know.
yeah,
Here's my schedule. Here's some dates that I have available. You let me know what you find. I gave you all the information. Now
yeah.
drive.
And then the lack of follow through.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is the pattern I have been seeing with the men that approached me, the 5 men that approached me in this last 2 weeks. I'm just like,
I can see from your perspective, it's disappointing.
yeah,
Not that you put too much hope in it, but you're just
I
like, okay,
don't.
right?
My expectations, Dante, for dating is so low.
Oh damn. Oh damn. Oh jeez.
It's my expectations are very low. My standards are high, right?
Sure, but your
Because I
expectation.
do things for myself.
Yeah.
But my expectations for these guys to show up, oh my gosh, it's low. So if they don't show up, I be like, no, I just dust it off and keep on moving. Next,
Wow.
and I'm just like, this bad. It's really bad out here. Like I'm not actively seeking. I've been approached, but I'm not actively seeking. Just because
Yeah.
I know my tolerance level right now and I have a lot on my plate.
Yeah. They got
But
to pierce through that. They got to be able to pierce through the
yeah,
busyness to get your attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hear a guy out, right? I'll give him a chance. I'll hear him out, but the expectations are so low.
Mm. Oh,
Yeah. And that's heartbreaking because I'm like, damn, is this the pool in the 40s? Is this how it is?
yeah.
And I
Oh,
know
yeah.
you and I talked about the men being the prize, expecting to be the prize.
Yeah.
Like
That,
what is going on?
I'm trying not to go on a rant on that. I'll go on a rant if I try not to go on a rant. That's the most softest thing I've ever, like the most masculine man talking about, oh, I'm the pride. Like, bro, no one has to tell someone, call me king. Everyone in the room knows you're king when you're a king. It's
Yeah,
done. But if you have to
that's right.
ask, it means you're not it.
Hmm.
And I think there's a lot of men that think that they are with overly unjustifiably inflated egos,
Come on.
right?
I heard that before.
Like you're
Like,
not trying.
oh, way more than what they were, bruh.
Like, bro, you
Yeah,
got nothing going for you.
no,
Basic dude with a basic job that you barely go to and you underperform
yeah,
at. And you're not really that amazing, other than the fact
yeah,
that you like to tell yourself that you're amazing. That doesn't make you incredible.
yeah.
You're you are not even average sometimes.
Mm,
Low average, but thinking that you're in the 97th percentile, but you're really not.
yeah. I
So
dated a pretender before. Had a nice fancy car, beautiful home, but just didn't know how to show up in a relationship at all. Good person, but just didn't know how to. Yeah, his ego definitely overseated what he was bringing to the table.
it's fragile. That's why it's so over,
Yeah,
it's so high because it's so fragile.
and I
And
learned that.
when you say something, the ego is so like if you're that confident, if I were to give you feedback, why are you crumbling and crying and having a temper tantrum as a grown man? I won't say nothing else. I'll be quiet. I won't say nothing else.
So we'll end right there. Because I can go longer and in some more details of dating, but we gonna pause there.
Yeah.
Might have to have you on for a part two for some of the things that we talked about. But some of the takeaways we talked about, some attachment styles. We talked about where they began. We talked about how they showed up, and also how to build secure attachment styles. And so, a quote I want to say today is love isn't about perfection. It's about progress, patience, and partnership. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Dr. Johnson, if you want to let the people know again how they can get a hold of you, what services you provide, if anybody might want to take you on as their doctor, are you accepting new clients right now? Like, give
Yeah.
your spill, this
Yeah.
is that, as I say.
Yeah. So currently, I'm not accepting my caseload is full.
Okay.
I'm at the African American Child Wellness Institute doing therapy there. And then you can reach me out on TikTok. It's Dr. Dante Assad on TikTok. And then you can reach out. You can hit me up on Instagram too or Facebook. I'm on TikTok more though now.
Okay.
But yeah. So thank you for your time and just inviting me. Let me
Thank
rant.
you for your time. Look, I'm being respectful of your time and whatnot. So I appreciate you coming on, being transparent or vulnerable. I definitely feel like there will be a part two of this conversation with you because like we kind of peeked down some streets, but we didn't go all the way down those avenues. But I think we need to have those conversations. Just be a little transparent and let people have what they need to have because they need to hear, right? So yeah, thanks again for coming on. I appreciate you. Y'all all have a good night. And remember, be bold, be blessed, be beautiful. Most of all, be you. Good day,